Who was your favorite A's team of all time? For me, the 2012 Oakland Athletics is absolutely 100% in the discussion.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. I am your host, Beane, one name. Episodes will drop Monday through Friday at 6 a.m., except today. I apologize for being a bit tardy this a.m. Regardless, thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. I'm from the Bay Area, and I've been a diehard A's fan since 1981. I'm here to bring you a real fan's take, covering everything from Oakland to Sacramento to Las Vegas. This is the place for A's fans to get the latest game breakdowns, team news, and more. This is where the passion of the fans take center stage. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube, and please hit that subscribe button wherever you are following the show. There has been a bit of news regarding the A's offseason and the challenges they do face. We are going to cover that a bit later. First, when I think back to my memories of being an Oakland A's fan, I think about all the success and the first taste of winning I had in rooting for a major league team. Growing up in the Bay Area in the early 80s, it was always the Niners. Joe Montana, Super Bowl 16, Super Bowl 18, Bill Walsh, and all those successes. But on the baseball side of things, I did not have the chance to experience much winning until the A's. This came with the 1988 to 90 Oakland A's team and the World Series they won in 89. They have been my favorite A's team for the past 35 years until today. You see, what happens is as you get older, you look at sports differently. When you are younger, it is basically, did the team win or lose? Black or white? There's nothing else to discuss. As you get older, you think of how they won, who they won with. The 89 team was supposed to win. They were supposed to win a lot, and they did, even though they only won one World Series in that stretch of dominant teams they had in the late 80s and early 90s. Today, we are rewinding the clock to visit one of the most magical, unpredictable, and downright fun seasons in baseball history. The 2012 Oakland A's, my new number one all-time A's team. This was a year of low expectations, unforgettable moments, and a team that captured our hearts like no other. From walk-off wins to the iconic burning lean, the 2012 A's gave us a season we will never forget. This is the story of a team dismissed as a third-place afterthought in the AL West, only to shock the baseball world with a stunning division title. Their season wasn't just about guts and determination. It was a masterclass in rebuilding. Bold decisions, and yes, some good old-fashioned luck. So grab your peanuts and Cracker Jacks, because this is a tale you don't want to miss. This episode is brought to you in part by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. The A's had just wrapped up another disappointing year. For most teams in their position, the choice would be simple: either spend big or brace for a long, slow rebuild. Oakland's GM, Billy Beane, chose a third option: selling high while aiming to stay competitive. Let's set the scene. Coming off a dismal 2011 season, the A's entered 2012 with little to absolutely zero hype. Big trades in the offseason saw some solid players leave, and the roster seemed cobbled together from unknown rookies and veterans past their prime. The rotation featured an aging Bartolo Colon and young arms like Jared Parker and Tommy Malone. The offense, a mystery. Coco Crisp was the lone veteran mainstay, and the team took a chance on a Cuban outfielder whose only calling card was a viral workout video. You named it, Giannis Cespedes. Expectation? Rock bottom. But as fans, sometimes it's those years where the magic happens. The A's traded away their three most marketable players: Gio Gonzalez to the Nationals, Trevor Cahill to the Diamondbacks, Andrew Bailey to the Red Sox. What they got in return? A treasure chest of young talent, including Jared Parker, future rotation anchor, Josh Reddick, who'd become an outfield star, Tommy Malone, Derek Norris, and Ryan Cook, all of whom played key roles in 2012. Selling off three valuable pitchers should have signaled a step back. Instead, it was the foundation of a step forward. The rise of the all-rookie rotation. As the season began, the A's pitching plans were in disarray. Veteran starters like Brandon McCarthy, Dallas Braden, and Bartolo Colon were either injured or suspended. The only rookie starter to break camp with the team was Tommy Malone. The season started predictably mediocre at best. By early June, the A's were 24-32 and 9 games out of first place in the AL West. The team lacked any type of cohesion, and even fan favorites like Jameel Weeks were struggling. But there were sparks. Cespedes quickly showed he wasn't a mystery. He was an absolute star. Towering home runs electrified fans, including an unforgettable shot that nearly hit the luxury boxes at Mount Davis. Not kidding. Meanwhile, Josh Reddick and Johnny Gomes brought personality and power to the lineup. Then came the turning point. June 6th, Brandon Moss, a relative unknown, joined the team. From there, the A's bats started heating up. And by July, the team was on fire. July 2012 was nothing short of legendary. The A's went 19-5, including 6 walk-off wins. Yes, 6. They swept the Yankees in a 4-game series, capped by Coco Crisp's iconic extra inning walk-off hit. And who can forget the Bernie lean? If you have seen the movie Weekend at Bernie's, a 1992 blockbuster, you'll know what I'm talking about. What began as a clubhouse joke turned into a cultural phenomenon, uniting fans and players in dance and swagger. By the end of July, the A's had closed the division gap to just 3.5 games, and fans knew this team was special. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Injuries and suspensions tested the A's. Cologne had a PED suspension in August that could have derailed the season, but the team rallied. Guys like Brandon Inge, playing through injuries, gave heroic type performances before being sidelined. And yet, rookies like Josh Donaldson stepped up, proving they were more than just placeholders. By season's end, Oakland was riding the strength of an all-rookie rotation. While the pitching rotation got a lot of attention, the A's offense was just as critical. Oakland bats went from averaging 3.98 runs per game in 2011 to 4.4 runs per game in 2012. Here's what fueled that leap. Yoenis Cespedes, 4-year, $36 million deal. Cespedes brought power and excitement to the lineup. Johnny Gomes and Seth Smith, together, they formed a dynamic designated hitter platoon. Breakout performances. Josh Reddick hit 32 home runs while providing stellar defense in the outfield. Brandon Moss, after years of bouncing around, Moss hit 21 home runs in just 296 plate appearances. The A's defense, led by Reddick and others, ranked 6th in all of baseball for defensive efficiency. The defining moment? The final 6 games of the season were legendary. Facing elimination, the A's needed to sweep the Texas Rangers to clinch the AL West. And you know what? They did just that, capped by an unforgettable game 1-6-2, where the A's rallied from a 5-1 deficit to take the division. The playoffs brought more drama. In Game 4 of the ALDS, the A's staged a 9th-inning comeback to force Game 5 against the Tigers. But in Game 5, Justin Verlander's brilliance ended their Cinderella run. Even in defeat, the fans stayed. As the Tigers celebrated, the fans chanted, "Let's go Oakland," filled the Coliseum, a tribute to a team that gave us everything. As thrilling as their success was, the A's had their share of luck in 2012. Their pitchers outperformed their advanced stats. Key players like Cespedes and Reddick delivered more than anyone expected. But luck alone doesn't explain everything. And while most credit Billy Beane and the front office, what most baseball minds miss about sports in between all these numbers is the chemistry of a team. When you have players and people that are from a common place, that have been doubted, that have been counted out, there is a cohesion that takes place that you can never underestimate, that brings the best out of individuals. Sure, the numbers simply say they acted boldly and turned undervalued assets into a playoff caliber team. Whether it was intentional or not, it worked. The 2012 Oakland Athletics were not supposed to win. They weren't supposed to be a playoff team. And they certainly weren't supposed to dethrone heavyweights like the Angels and Rangers. But they did. Today's episode is brought to you in part by FanDuel. When I personally look at a sports book, there are 2 things that are most important to me. Is it easy to deposit? And more importantly, is it easy to withdraw? FanDuel checks both boxes for me. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view, live, play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. We got some news on why the A's have been so quiet this offseason. They are running into a couple problems or roadblocks. You see, the A's want to improve, but they face a catch-22. Trading quality pieces risks setting them back. But without trades, there's little room for meaningful upgrades. Free agency would typically be the fallback option, but the A's aren't exactly in a position to lure big names. The likely free agents they'd attract are those with few other options, players who may not bring substantial upgrades to the roster. This limitation ties their hands even further, raising questions about their ability to genuinely improve. Let's go back in time a little bit. Back in January, Ken Rosenthal revealed plans for the A's to ramp up payroll to 130 to 150 million before moving into their new stadium in Vegas. But Rosenthal himself was skeptical, even titling his piece, "Why I Remain Skeptical About the A's Grandiose Vegas Plans." Let's not forget, the A's have had one of the league's lowest payrolls for years. In 2024, they were dead last at just 61 million. Doubling that number would require a monumental shift in the way this franchise operates. Since John Fisher became managing partner in 2016, the A's have been more notorious for shedding talent than building it. Trades of stars like Matt Chapman, Matt Olson, and Sean Murphy gutted the roster. Their payroll in 2019 was 92 million, the franchise's record. Contrast that with 37 million projected for next year. Fisher's track record or disinvestment in the team has fans and analysts alike questioning whether he truly intends to invest in a competitive roster, or if these big plans are just PR to justify the move to Vegas, which it may be. Why would Vegas be different? Moving to Vegas does change the equation. The Fisher family is investing $1 billion of the $1.5 billion needed for the new stadium, which could and likely go up in cost. Vegas relies heavily on tourism. A flashy roster could lure both locals and visitors, turning the A's into a destination team. With TV revenue uncertain, attendance will be the key. The new stadium's capacity is just 33,000, the smallest in all of baseball. To charge premium prices, they'll need to generate big interest. Think about it. The Rangers spent heavily and won the World Series. The Astros dominate through consistent investment. For the A's to compete in the AL West, a new spending approach isn't just smart, it's absolutely essential. Now, there has been some signs of change, some encouraging moves. Again, according to Ken Rosenthal with The Athletic, rival GMs say the A's are sincere in their desire to improve, but are reluctant to trade key players like Brett Rooker, J.J. Bleday, or Mason Miller. These are the few pieces or quality talent the A's possess, and holding on to them limits their trade options. They had a nice late season surge. In the last 3 months of 2024, the A's posted a respectable 39-37 record thanks to breakout performances from players like Mason Miller and Lawrence Butler. This may suggest they might be laying a foundation for competitiveness. Now, is this a legitimate pivot, or will the A's simply play small market baseball in a big market city? Fans in Oakland know this routine better than anyone, and they were betrayed watching their team languish for years, only for Fisher to seemingly plan a spending spree after the move. If the A's do spend, it could shake up the league. Players benefit when more teams are willing to pay top dollar. The already competitive AL West becomes even tougher. At the end of the day, it seems to be the same old story, and we basically got to look at the options at the table. Standing pat. The A's could claim they tried to make moves but couldn't. The downside, it reinforces the skepticism about ownership's commitment to improving the team, especially with the Las Vegas move looming. Accepting underperforming players with bloated contracts in exchange for prospects. Risky, but it's a way to improve while preserving top-tier talent. Could the A's consider trading players like Rooker or Miller? They're not trading Rooker. I could see them trading Miller, and I've spoken about in the past with regard to trading Bleday. It could significantly bolster the roster, but it can also alienate fans and lose the excitement needed for the Vegas move. With the move to Sacramento on the horizon, the A's don't yet know how the new ballpark will affect performance. Making a blockbuster trade before understanding the park factors could backfire if the acquisition does not thrive in the new environment. The A's cannot afford to alienate their future fan base, as they have done that already in Oakland, by trading their most recognizable players. This isn't just about wins and losses. It's about selling the idea of a fresh start in Sacramento. If they come in looking like the same old A's, it could hurt their brand in attendance in a critical growth phase. For A's fans, it's okay to dream of a competitive team, but history warns us to stay cautious. Maybe Vegas really is the fresh start. Fisher needs to run the A's like a real contender, or maybe this is just another chapter in baseball's long history of ownership promises that never materialize. The 2028 Vegas Stadium opening looms. But before that, all eyes will be on how the A's perform during their temporary West Sacramento years. If they want to hit the ground running in Vegas, the groundwork needs to start now. Who should the A's target? Up next. This episode is brought to you in part by Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets and more with Game Time picks. I went to the San Francisco 49er game against the Seattle Seahawk game last Sunday, and while it was a tragic loss for my Niners, what I did love is I loved the Game Time experience. It's the all-in pricing feature where it shows you the total up front of your ticket with no surprise fees at checkout. It's the only ticketing app that gives me complete peace of mind. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. The A's are currently looking at 3 possible trade scenarios. One of them includes Walker Buehler of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and that news came actually today. A second, Jason Burke reported at the possibilities of trading for Cody Bellinger, and we heard a couple weeks back about Cincinnati Reds third baseman Candelario. Trading for one of them would be outstanding. No matter what type of contract we take on, I assume it's going to be similar to the deal that we signed with Ross Stripling last year, where the Giants picked up a portion of that contract. But the good news is, more than the actual signings, is the A's are trying. They're active. There's something to talk about. So we have some hope, and I'm excited about that. On Monday, I'm going to cover all 3 of those possible trade scenarios: Walker Buehler, Candelario, and Cody Bellinger. Are they even a possibility? What would need to be done? Who would we need to give up, etc.? But again, the exciting part about that is they are trying. They are active. They're getting after it a little bit. They want to improve. So that is positive news in itself. On Monday, we are also going to continue with our theme of revisiting July. Oakland A's in July. We cover the Anaheim Angels series at home where they swept. We covered the Baltimore Orioles series where they lost 2 of 3. And now the A's are on the road in Boston. We're going to cover that 3-game set. Trivia show Tuesday night premiere. Make sure you tune in. If you still want to be a contestant on future shows, lockedonathletics@gmail.com or message me on X at LockedOnA's. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On MLB. Baseball guru Sully brings a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on every rumor and story throughout the offseason. Find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday.